Another episode of the Daily Glow Up podcast. So today's episode might sting a little bit, like in a good way, I promise, because I want to ask you something and I need you to be really honest with yourself, like properly honest with yourself, not try and deflect and people please and, be the perfect person. Like, I really want you to be honest with yourself on a deep level and be real about it. Be vulnerable. Do you actually believe, really deep in your gut, deep in your soul, that you are the one creating your reality? All of it. Not just the good stuff, not just the manifestation wins and I called this in moment and the stuff that you're proud to post about, the stuff that you're proud to communicate about. I mean, all of your life, like every single tiny bad moment, the times where you have fallouts with friends, money stuff, your body, the stuff that went wrong, the things that, if we're being honest, we kind of blame on someone or something else, or even the times that you snap and lose it at work, the times that you have a crash out about your overwhelm, every little moment of your entire life, do you really believe you were the one who created all of that? Because here's a really messed up truth that I've sat with for a really long time, and mainly this past year deeply, that you cannot cherry pick creator energy. You can't get to claim the good and then outsource all the bad. Either you're creating your whole reality or you're not creating any of it. And today we're going to be figuring out which one you actually believe underneath all the language that you use. So we're going to be diving into a very common, I guess, talked about method of like the victim versus the victor mentality. And so let's talk about the victim leak first. And I want you to be really clear before we go further. Like, I really don't want you to feel like this is any form of shame or like this isn't me sitting here going like, you're a bad manifester if you've ever felt like the victim of your circumstances. Like, everyone leaks. I leak all the effing time. And that's why I can talk on this so deeply, because every single month, especially around my period, just not gonna lie, I feel like I get into a victim mentality and I find it really difficult to come out of it. And so I understand, and this is not shameful in any way. This is not saying that I'm above you or that you're always going to feel this way, but I can talk on it because I've experienced it and I've overcome it, because I was this majority of my life, like 99.9% of the time, I was acting out of a victim mentality, and now I'm the opposite. But I slip. We all leak sometimes. So I just want to remind you, like, this is a practice. It's not a trait that you become and then you have it or you don't. Like, it is something that you have to practice, and I have to continually practice. Otherwise, I do lose it. Okay, so here is what the victim mentality basically looks like in real life. So whether you're more of a victim mentality or if you're a victim mentality. So victim is more in real life, in real conversations, like there'll be things like you'll say, well, that's just my luck. So people that have that victim mentality, oh, that's just my luck, or of course this happened to me. It's like blaming an ex for who you are now instead of asking what you're actually doing with what happened, if that makes sense. It's hearing things, and I used to say it a lot too, like it's the algorithms against me, or my industry is very oversaturated. I was just born into the wrong family. Just bad timing. Like, of course shit happens to me like this. Like, that's that victim mentality coming out. And I'm sure pretty much a lot of my listeners, like I can imagine you guys listening to this, you've absolutely been in situations like this. However, I know that all the beautiful girls that follow me, you are all on a very self-aware journey, and you're more likely hearing those comments not come out of your mouth, but out of a lot of people around you. Because I find when I started to become more self-aware on my journey and more spiritually aware as well, it's these things stand out so much more, because it's like you can't stand people like this that are constantly complaining about things happening to them when you can see so clearly that it's actually happening for them to help them learn a lesson to get out of that victim mentality. And it's I'm sure majority of the people watching my podcast right now, like you felt yourself slip into these, but not at that severe level, because I find that the more self-aware you become, you feel like you're not a victim mentality, but there's still that lingering subconscious level of feeling as though things are happening out of your control and that you haven't created every single thing that happens in your life. But here's the thing about all of that. And obviously, some of the things might technically be true if you want to like look at the physical world and go, okay, well, bad things do happen. Yep, unfair things do happen. And I'm not denying that. It's just that there's a massive difference between acknowledging something happened to you and deciding that that thing now gets to run the rest of your story. And so victim energy is more it isn't about what happened. It's about what you do with the meaning of what happened. And most people, if they're honest, are holding on to the meaning way longer than they're actually holding on to the actual event. And I think the part that I really want to sit with is because I think the sneakiest part of the whole manifestation world, if I'm honest with you, is like we love to claim all these wins. Like I manifested this, I called this in, the universe delivered, and it feels amazing and it feels powerful and it feels like the proof that you are the creator of your life. But sometimes when something goes wrong, even if you are spiritually aware, it can become a lot more about the thing or the someone else that did it to you. Like it becomes that person's fault that that happened. It becomes timing that's an issue, or it becomes their damage that has gotten projected onto you, not that you're creating it for yourself. And I get why we do this. I genuinely do, because owning the bad stuff feels like it's going to break you. It feels like if you actually admit that I played a part in this, you're saying that you deserved the pain or that you're at fault or that you should have known better. And that's not what this is at all. It's owning your creation. Owning your creation isn't the same as blaming yourself. It's not, this is my fault. It's what part of this can I actually learn from and change because I had more influence here than I wanted to admit. It is a mirror back to my soul. My soul wouldn't have sent me this if there was not a mirror for me to learn something and to be grateful for that mirror in front of you to teach you that lesson. So that distinction matters so much, that every single person that comes in your path is just you mirroring back you for a lesson for your growth. So no matter what bad things happen or what awful, annoying, frustrating things come in your path, imagine those things or those people with your face on it, looking back at you going, what is that teaching me about myself? Why has that been put in my path? Because it's only been put in my path for my growth, for my expansion, for my next level. And so even though it can catch you off guard and can make you feel a bit like, what the hell is going on? Why is things not working out for me? Typically, when everything starts to fall apart within months, sometimes weeks, or even a year maybe, but always in the near future, you will find you'll have the hugest breakthrough, and you wouldn't have been able to have that breakthrough without the breakdown first, because you need it. You need these lessons in order to grow. So this distinction matters so much. So it's like self-blame. When you're blaming yourself for something, you're going to feel small. You're going to feel stuck in shame. But what I want you to focus on is more like this sense of self-responsibility, because that actually gives you all that power back, because it means that you're not going to be waiting for someone else to change or for something at work to shift in your favor, or like waiting for the universe to just finally be on your side for everything to work out timing wise. Like you're realizing that you were never actually powerless in the first place. You just told yourself you were because it was easier than looking at your part in it. So if this sense of victim energy is handing all of your power away and blaming it on other people and feeling like everything's happening to you and you've lost all control, creator energy is literally the opposite. But I don't think people fully understand what it actually requires, because it's not just about thinking positive or choosing better thoughts. Like that is such a surface level version of what creator energy really is. Real creator energy requires you to look at the full pattern of your life. And you have to ask yourself, like, what have I been doing, saying, believing, even like tolerating that kept producing this result for me? Not once, but it's like a repeated pattern. Because if something keeps showing up in your life, if something keeps looping, whether that's like a type of relationship, it's a money situation, it's a body struggle, a friendship dynamic, it could just be like a work thing that keeps looping back. It's not bad luck circling back around to you. It's a pattern that you're still running in your subconscious. It is a pattern, a program that you are running to teach you a lesson, and you are not allowing yourself to learn it. You are avoiding it. And it's going to keep looping back until you actually face it. And so this is where it actually gets really quite uncomfortable, because creator energy means you have to stop outsourcing responsibility to people who aren't in the room. You can't keep blaming your parents or your ex or your old boss or your childhood ever. Like, at some point, and I'm not saying those things didn't shape you, they absolutely did, but at some point, the responsibility for what happens next absolutely transfers to you. And the transfer point is where most people get very, very, very stuck, because staying a victim is very comfortable. The saying I say all the time, I feel like I've said it in so many podcasts by now, is that, we prefer a familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven. And we would rather stay a victim and be beating ourselves up and feeling horrendous and allowing ourselves to feel powerless in this awful victim mentality, because it is comfortable, it is safe, and we're not having to face anything, because it means you never have to risk trying and failing on your own terms. It means you always have a built-in excuse ready to go that someone else is to blame and not you. And so creator energy takes that excuse away, and it's very terrifying, honestly, because now, for example, if it doesn't work, if I don't become successful, if I don't get the job, this relationship doesn't last, whatever it is, it's on you, which is very scary, kind of terrifying, but that's also where your power lives. So instead of having those backup excuses ready to go of, oh, well, if this post doesn't go viral, it just means XYZ. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with me. And yes, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just saying that, where is it teaching you something to grow? Okay, so I want to give you an actual practical tool here, something you can use in real time next time something goes wrong. So next time something happens, something disappointing, something painful, something that didn't go your way, because obviously we're always going to experience these things. It happens. It's life. It's always going to happen. I want you to pause and ask yourself these 3 questions. Okay. 1, am I currently telling this story like it happened to me, or am I telling it like I played a part in it? 2nd, if my best friend came to me with this exact situation, would I be able to spot the pattern she can't see in herself? Because we're always so much better at clocking other people's patterns than our own. Trust me. I always go to, my soul aligned people that I know I can trust to say, okay, I'm dealing with this. This has happened to me. I want to just complain. I want to yell. I want to scream. I want to be like, how could they have done that to me? How could this have happened to me? Why is this not happening? Why is this not happening? Instead of doing that, I'll often go to someone and be like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. I'm feeling like a bit of a victim. I'm feeling like a little bit like this is all happening to me. Can you spot a pattern of why this could have happened? And then 3rd, and this is a really big one, what would I have to admit about myself, my choices, or my behavior, or just your energy in general, for this to have been at least partly something that I created in order for my own growth? Really sit with that. Don't rush past them. And just a side bonus one, a 4th one, if you fully believed you created this, what would you do differently starting today? Because I think sometimes if we believe that it's all happening to us, we don't actually take action on the change. But if you truly believed that there was your higher self that planted that in your life for your own good, how would you shift and change instead of, crashing out and spiraling, having a mentee be? Yes, feel the feelings, but then how would you change today based on looking at it as, okay, well, if this is a seed, if this is a breadcrumb for my growth, not for saying something went wrong, how could you see that differently? And what would you actually physically do in your actions? Because victim energy is always going to help. It's always looking backward. You're trying to figure out who's to blame. You're trying to figure out what went wrong. Whereas creator energy is when you look forward and you go, okay, this is mine. This is what I'm doing with it now. This is my life. It's my game of life. If you think of your life as a game, I say it all the time. It's literally my motto. But if you think of it like your life and there's a big board game of your life and you're moving your avatar around on this board game, you can't blame what you land on, because what you land on sometimes is going to catapult you 10 steps ahead. And you can see that on the board if you were to zoom out and see how powerful it is. And so it's your game. You're the avatar. You're the main character. It's all about you. It's always been about you. So everyone that comes into your life, yes, they have their own lives. But for now, in this metaphor, try and think of it as everyone else is just side characters or extras in your game. You are the center of the universe because your consciousness right now came to have this experience and you are the center of it all. You are everything. And so for you right now, what is everyone in your life mirroring back to you? If they weren't real people, they were just avatars or side characters in your game, and it takes the emotion and the pressure off it a little bit. Okay, I want to end on this because I think it's the actual thesis of this whole entire episode. And so real creator energy, the truest version of creating your own reality is it means you're willing to own the good, the bad, and the ugly, not just the really pretty parts, not just the parts that make, a good social media post. The good, yes, you manifested that, own it fully, don't shrink it, but the bad, the disappointments, the setbacks, all the times you posted and nothing came, all the times you failed, all the times that you made a mistake and you did something wrong at work, whatever it is, or you've had a fight with someone and it was you in the wrong. There's usually a thread there too, if you're brave enough to look at that stuff as well. And the ugly as well, like the stuff you're embarrassed about, like the patterns you keep repeating, the moments you've hurt yourself or someone else, that's where the deepest ownership actually happens. And that's where most people will stop because it's really hard to shine a light on the ugly. But that's exactly where all of your power has been hiding this whole entire time, because you are not a victim of your life and you are not perfect either. You are a creator playing a game who's still learning how to use the tools that she was handed. That's it. That's the game. So here's what I want you to sit with after this episode. Pick one thing in your life right now you've been calling bad luck, someone else's fault, or like that's just how it is. And ask yourself really honestly, what's my part in this? That question alone will change more than any affirmation ever will. As always, thank you so much for listening. I absolutely love creating these episodes and diving into new topics. I would love to hear some more topics that you might have on your mind for the next evolution of my journey. This is kind of like the end of season 1, which was all very spiritual and diving into some really deep concepts about consciousness and spirituality. And I want to go into season 2 with a whole new version of the podcast. So I'll likely be having a week, maybe a couple weeks break to batch record the whole next era of the Daily Glow Up podcast, which I'm very excited for. So please head on over and tell me any feedback on what you want to hear next from me on the pod. And as always, please send this to someone who might need to hear it. And